Choosing the wrong Apple Silicon chip for your workstation isn't just a minor technical glitch. It's actually a quiet, continuous leak that's slowly bleeding away your two most valuable assets, your time and your money. If you overbuy, well, you're trapping capital in silicon that you're literally never going to utilize. But if you underbuy, you bottleneck your entire daily workflow, losing hours every single week just sitting there waiting for progress bars to finish. The decision between the M Max and the M Ultra architecture inside the Mac Studio is hands down the most critical hardware choice a creative professional can make today. To really grasp the weight of this decision, we kind of have to reframe how we look at this hardware. This isn't just a casual expense. We're talking about a baseline entry fee of roughly $2,400 US, and that scales rapidly up to $6,000 or $7,000 depending on exactly how you configure it. This machine is a serious financial investment for creative professionals. You are buying it for one singular reason, right? To generate profit. The hardware absolutely must pay for itself by enabling you to work faster, take on more clients, or push out higher quality work.
Section 1, the Headless Powerhouse, a compact desktop.
So the Mac Studio is what the industry calls a headless desktop workstation. Unlike an iMac or a MacBook, it doesn't come with a screen, a keyboard, or a trackpad. Think of it as a highly concentrated brick of pure computational power. You bring your own peripherals to the table, and the Mac Studio provides the raw horsepower. It's a form factor that strips away literally everything except the essential processing components and a massive thermal cooling system. This is what allows the chips inside to run at their absolute maximum potential without overheating. Now, you might be wondering, doesn't having to buy a totally separate monitor make this a terrible deal? Well, let's run the math. Even if you purchase a high-end $800 4K or 5K monitor, pairing it with a Mac Studio is still consistently cheaper than buying a MacBook Pro with the exact same chip configuration. Because you aren't paying for the miniaturization, the battery, and the built-in laptop display, your dollar just stretches so much further into pure performance.
Okay, let's dive into this. Section 2, Max versus Ultra architecture, comparing silicon.
The physical boxes sitting on your desk, they look exactly identical, but the silicon beating inside them operates on two completely different philosophies. Think of the M Max chip as a brand new, highly tuned sports car. Because of how Apple staggers their release cycles, the Max version you buy, like say an M4 Max, often features a newer underlying architecture than the available Ultra chip. This means its individual cores are just faster. In fact, for single core tasks, those processes that cannot be split up and just need one incredibly fast engine to do the math, the Max chip can actually outpace the Ultra by roughly 20%. It's nimble, it's incredibly fast, and exceptionally efficient for everyday tasks. The Ultra chip, however, is a totally different beast. To build an Ultra, like the M3 Ultra, Apple literally takes two Max chips and physically fuses them together using a high bandwidth connection. It is quite literally a stitched-together monster. So if the Max is a nimble sports car, the Ultra is a massive freight train. It gives you dual-engine parallel processing. It doubles the CPU cores, it doubles the GPU cores, and it doubles the media engines. But keep in mind, a freight train isn't always faster than a sports car if you're just going to the grocery store. It only wins when you have a massive, heavy load that requires serious parallel power. Section 3, Price to Performance, the value game. So the crucial point is figuring out which chip is actually right for the vast majority of professionals. And honestly, it comes down to just how wildly capable the standard M Max chip is. This single chip easily obliterates heavy workflows. Complex software development and compiling? Effortless. Massive music production sessions with dozens of tracks? Not a problem at all. Heavy photo editing, standard 4K video editing, and even some 3D rendering in programs like Blender are all handled with extreme ease. The Max chip already has a graphics processor that is double the size of the base Pro chips. It is wildly overpowered for about 90% of professionals out there. What this means is, unless you have a highly specific, massively parallel workflow that you can perfectly quantify, the M Max offers the absolute highest return on your hardware investment. The performance you get per dollar spent peaks right here. Buying the Ultra without a highly specific use case is kind of like buying a commercial dump truck for your daily commute. Sure, it's an incredible piece of machinery, but you're just wasting money on capacity you will never, ever use. Section 4, Time is money. ROI on the Ultra. Now, for that remaining 10% of users, paying the massive premium for the Ultra chip actually becomes a brilliant financial move when you look at media processing. And this brilliantly illustrates the true power of the Ultra. When you fuse two chips together, you double the hardware media encoders. If your software is designed to use them, like professional video editing suites exporting massive timelines, the Ultra can literally cut your render times in half. A 2-hour export drops to just 1 hour. A massive batch conversion finishes before you even get back from lunch. But here's the catch. Doubling your CPU and GPU cores doesn't universally halve your work time, mainly because a lot of software programs have bottlenecks that simply can't use all those cores at once. But when it does scale perfectly, like in heavy media exports, that saved time is instantly converted into revenue. If your computer finishes rendering an hour earlier every single day, that's an extra hour you can spend color grading, taking on a brand new client, or conceptualizing a new project. For high-end video editors, the Ultra chip pays for its premium within the first few months simply by giving them their time back.
Section 5. Deep tech specs. Hardware differences.
Now, for the power users and the hardware enthusiasts tuning into this explainer who need to know every single detail, the nuances that separate these two machines are absolutely crucial. From the outside, the boxes look the same, sure, but the I/O actually differs. On the back, both machines feature high-speed Thunderbolt 5 ports. However, on the front, the M Max gives you two standard USB-C ports capped at 10 gigabits per second. The M Ultra, largely because of its massive internal bandwidth from those fused chips, upgrades those front two ports to full Thunderbolt 5. If you're constantly hot-swapping ultra-fast NVMe RAID storage arrays right on your desk, that front-facing bandwidth difference is a major quality of life upgrade.
Let's move to and see how this builds. This massive internal bandwidth unlocks an entirely new frontier: local artificial intelligence. The Ultra's architecture allows it to support unified memory pools of 128 gigabytes or even a staggering 256 gigabytes. In the AI world, running large language models locally is heavily restricted by VRAM. That's the memory on a dedicated graphics card. A top-tier NVIDIA card might max out at around 24 gigabytes of VRAM, but the macstudio's unified memory acts as one giant pool of VRAM. This allows data scientists and researchers to host and serve absolutely massive AI models completely locally without paying those exorbitant cloud computing fees. It's a real game changer.
And finally, we have to mention an unsung hero of the Mac Studio's spec sheet for both the Max and Ultra models: built-in 10 gigabit Ethernet. For media professionals working off network-attached storage, 10 gigabit networking is essentially mandatory. If you bought a MacBook Pro, you'd have to go buy a bulky external Thunderbolt to Ethernet adapter, which easily costs upwards of $280. On the Mac Studio, it's just built right into the back, saving you cash and keeping your desk totally clean. So what does this all mean for you? Well, the final decision doesn't actually start with the spec sheet. It starts with your business math. The M Max is the undisputed value champion that is going to effortlessly handle almost any creative task you throw at it. But if you work in a high-pressure environment where seconds literally equal dollars, the Ultra is waiting for you. Look closely at your daily workflow. Tally up the time you spend just waiting on progress bars. And ask yourself this: how much is an hour of your time actually worth?
If you enjoy this video, please like, share, subscribe and hit the bell to the latest update from my channel. Thank you for watching till the end and see you in the next video.